Welcome in, everyone. This is our weekly flow alerts recap. This is for the week of 5/27 to 5/31. Market was closed on Monday for Memorial Day, so we have 4 days of alerts to go over. We are going to touch on the flow, the alert, the flow that came in, go over the movement on a contract, and take a peek at how the volume looks on there. So let's get started here. So first up, on Tuesday the 28th, we had some meme action early for GameStop. This came in on the interval flow on the 6/7/27 call for GME. This was 109% of the total volume of that chain. Average fill of 268 for a premium of 269. And this is how that volume looked here. All ask side coming in. We did have a little open interest, but this was an opening trade, and kind of combining this with the net premiums at the time, GameStop was, net call premiums were spiking, net put premiums were dropping. So let's look at the flow here. So looking at the flow for GameStop, we're gonna pull it back here so we can see that. So here is your whale again on the 27th. I'm gonna bump this back here, or 28th. Sorry on that. So 28th. So here is your whale entry, 268. You can see these did come up and hit 493 on the day. That's 83% on those. Market is open, so you might see some fluctuations here as well. This is still being filmed during market hours. So here's your whale entry, and it looks like this whale might still be in, so keep that in mind there. But these did hit 83% intraday, and we can look at the contract here. I have the contracts pulled up. So again, came in on the 28th. You can see that volume right there, 1,000 contracts. Contract movement to 70 all the way up to 503, 493, whatever we said. So that's your range of the contract for GME there. So that would have been a good intraday scalp here. So moving on now. Come over to Discord again. So eBay again, 28th still. Interval flow here. So we had big whale come in on the 7/19/60 calls, 109% total volume of that contract, had an average fill of 49 cents per contract for 143K in total premium. Again, looking at the chart here, we did have some mid-side fill, nothing to throw me off on here at all or make me kind of shy away from this one. A little bid-side volume, but obviously we can tell based on that size alone. And coming back here and looking at that size, so 2,900 contracts against 391 open interest, clear opening trade here. And we can see that net call premium spiking here as well, and net put premium dropping here. And coming over to look at the flow, come over here. Not Twitter. Let's see. Where am I? What did I do? Okay. It's Friday. That is my excuse. So here's our eBay trade right here. So again, coming back to the 28th. So Tuesday. Here's your entry, and this one was a little messy, so I'm going to bump this out from the 28th. So here's your whale entry. And first of all, looking here, here's all that open interest for the day. We did have 19,000 contracts traded on the day, with only 14,000 carrying over. So kind of looking at this and coming back to this one more time, we had 2,900 contracts there. From kind of just a basic read of this, I'm going to assume this whale may have closed at the ask somewhere in here intraday. We did get a lot of volume. Some of these larger volumes like this, a little harder to track, but we do see on the 28th, again, right at close, 2,679 contracts at the bid come in at 27. So how I'm looking at this whale probably cut their contracts from, so 0.50 was their entry there. You can see the average fill. Looks like they may have closed at about 0.27. So that flow would have been a loss, but kind of looking at eBay here and show everybody else one more thing here. Let me go back to the 28th here to my charts. So 28th here. So 28th, and I do this every night in Discord for the alerts that come in if they don't make a significant move intraday. So I'll kind of chart them out and stuff. So kind of looking at eBay here though, I did like this on the weekly. There was a bull flag that's forming here. So bull flag coming up here, obviously a little lighter volume there towards that little sell-off. So kind of some stuff there. I kind of wanted to look for a bounce off the top of that bull flag, and actually coming over to look at eBay. Let me pull up eBay quick. Looking at it today from that weekly, let's see. Let's draw out that bull flag quick. So we did actually come in kind of, I'm just going to draw a crappy bull flag here quick. So we did actually come and test this a couple days ago. As you can see, if you would have followed along on that chart, pretty much almost a perfect bounce off the top of that bull flag. So, and we're back up again, and if that whale is still in that contract, they are down a bit still, but 49 we are at. Let me bump this back to Friday now so we can see what we're currently at. So this would be that whale, and we had a bunch of bid side coming here, so interesting there. So they're running at about 29 right now, down from 49. Hard to kind of tell when you see all this volume coming in here. Obviously, you can always check the open interest on the next day, but for this one, we'll say they cut the trade. So moving on here, we have FCX next. Let's bring that up here. So another one on the interval flow. On the 6/14/55 call, this trade that came in that 5-minute time frame accounted for 92% of that total volume on that chain, and an average fill of 1.16, so 145K on that premium. And just quickly looking at the chart here, clean entry, net call premiums up, net put premiums down. And coming over here, we'll just take a quick peek at this. So this was when the whale actually closed intraday. So let's go back to Tuesday, 5/28. So here's that whale entry, 116. And this is why I really love keeping the flow open here as well too, just to monitor. And if you don't have unusual whales, you can always just, what I like to do, I kind of do double just to kind of double coverage. But if you go to the contracts here, and if you're using Webull, I'm pretty sure other brokers have this too, but you can come up here, set an alert, and you can set for a volume above. So if 2,000 contracts were traded that day at that certain time, I would maybe put 2,500 for volume just so I could see if maybe a big large chunk of volume comes out and kind of look that way. So just a little tip and trick there. So coming back here, I'm going to try to make the video not as long as possible for everybody. So FCX, we were looking at the intraday. So again, FCX whale taking profits there. Let's go back here. So again, can see that 1,000 contracts, we'll say there, coming in at the ask. About 1,000 contracts there going out at 132. So this whale closed from their contracts from 116 to 132. So they closed at about 13%. And you can easily see that down here. So 4,000 contracts traded that day. Only 656 contracts carried over. So that whale closed intraday. Easy one to see there. So moving on, TMO, this one I won't touch on super long. This one, believe this may have been, actually, I want to come back and show everybody the thing for the contract for FCX. Actually, we're going to look at eBay's contract too because we did not. So here's that intraday movement on eBay too. So that, oops, go back to the. So eBay would have been it's down a little bit, but this was that whale entry 48. You can see all that volume coming in here. A lot of big chunks of volume coming in here, so kind of harder to read that one, but this whale would be down. They're running about 28 right now, so down about 19 cents per contract. So I'm looking at FCX quick. 28th again. Here's your whale entry 119, exiting about 136, 137 here at the top. And TMO, this one, this I'm going to assume, because when you look at TMO here, let me come back out. So this was the whale entry at 77, and they're still in. I'm going to assume they were selling these calls, but they're not hitting 135 today. Let me take a peek at that. That might just be a glitch on there. So okay, yeah, that's 585. Yeah, that's just a really goofy spread right there. So I was gonna say that pumped real quick. So looking at this, and you can always come back and look at the volume here. So the way I was kind of looking at this is when this came in, we saw the IV kind of dropping here a little bit, and then IV dropped there a little bit, came back up, and IV was kind of coming up a little bit. So I kind of like to look at the IV, but could have been some flow probably avoided, but I would assume this is, unless this whale was completely off, but still in. Usually they probably would have cut, but intraday still on TMO, and this is why you don't always have to follow the whales exactly. Come back to my watch list. TMO, these actually did have profit for a quick little scalp, so you could have got in. Here's that whale 80. They hit 92 same day intraday, so they actually hit 19%, almost 20% there. So even though it was that whale lost on that, unless their idea was to sell the calls, these would have provided a nice little intraday scalp there. So moving on now. So where are we? McDonald's now. So McDonald's was a good one. This was also a public idea. So we have, this came in on the flow. So an aggregated trade. Obviously an opening trade size. There was no open interest on this. 100 or $1.50 per contract, 1,000 contracts, 150K at the time. Here you go, very clean, easy flow, no multi-leg, all ask side. Bid side was just little small person probably. At the time, we could see that spike in net call premium. That net put premium was still up as well, so moving on to the flow here. So McDonald's. So this was a very nice trade. And with some of this longer flow, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, you can always try to find a better entry. You don't have to get in exactly at that point. Because if you would have gotten down here, this whale let these contracts go down almost 50%. And now they're running at 282 currently, which is, let me update my number here. So 150 to 282, they're up 88%. So imagine if you charted this out and got in a little better entry here. But again, very clean flow entering here. Looking at the contracts at the time, IV increasing. Here's something I always like to look at. And bid side stuff, this is probably just little retail getting in as well. But IV increasing, good sign there. Very, very nice pump here into Friday the 31st, and looking at the contracts, which obviously I marked a little bit before the video, as you can see. They're here's your whale entry 147. The ask is about 310 right now in that time that I just did that. Let's see what McDonald's is doing today actually still. I sold these a little early. Yeah, we're just pumping now, and you look at that chart, we're coming back up here as well too. And I did touch on this in the TA section. So again, lots of notes here, kind of breaking down the flow. Looking at the chart here, and we were hitting that 200-day moving average on the 1 week chart, and we bounced. RSI was a little oversold too. So again, always trying to put notes in for those that like to learn about the flow. So moving on here. So McDonald's probably the best trade of the week, honestly. And we had BABA here. So BABA was, let me pull this up here. So BABA, we had 2 alerts come in on the 6/21/93 call, 96K total premium here. And looking at this, clean entry, net call premium spiking, net put premium dropping, volume open interest, obviously an opening trade there. Pulling this up here, and sorry, I'm going to speed up a little bit because I have to be somewhere here shortly. So here's this whale. Obviously they have 21 days left on these, but intraday these hit, so 0.32, they hit 0.35, about 10%. This whale looks like they're still in, and again, looking at that volume coming in. Open interest is dropping a little bit, but we had a big spike in, or IV is dropping a little bit. Had a spike in IV here though at that time. So this whale, I would still say to be decided on this one. And Amazon here, I didn't chart this one out because this is a nice one you can see that the whale exited at. So these came in on the 29th. Wednesday the 29th. So here's your entry. Whale, all ask side 1910. Bid side coming in here 800. 800, so about 1800. This whale closed the same day for a loss. So 29th, you can obviously see 5,651 contracts traded that day. Only 1,460 carrying over. And let's quickly take a peek at the flow that came in. Oh, that was the next one. Where's my Amazon flow? Okay, here we go. So Amazon flow coming in here. Good premium, good size. Probably chasing that as a momentum entry. Obviously, net call premium at the time spiking. Net put premium coming up a little bit. Clean entry, all ask side versus bid side. And the Amazon ones I didn't mark off because that was they got cut. They were not green at all. So moving on here, so we've got Scythe. This is another one. Hasn't really made a move yet. I'm gonna bump this out. So this came in a lot of call and bid side here. I thought this was maybe a closure intraday, but all that volume did carry over into open interest. So one to still watch, 21 days on this. RIVN, probably the other best one of the week. So I'm going to bring this one back up. So RIVN, we had alerts come in, 10.5 call for 628. Good size, good premium. Another one for 628.13. And I did have something on RIVN here that I wanted to touch on. So let me come down here to RIVN quick. So RIVN, both of those. This is that original 10.5 call that was actually alerted. We did have some mid and bid side flow, so I held off on posting this at the time. But with that 13 call coming in, obviously another whale was bullish on that as well. So that kind of gave me confidence in that flow as well. And this flow was a very nice trade. So RIVN here. So these, and I'm on the day chart on accident. So here's your entry, 78. They hit about 128. Whale looks like they're still in, running about 118. So RIVN ran about 0.78, 128, ran the next day, up about 64%. Decent trade. So a couple more here. As you can tell, I'm trying to speed up. KVUE, we had 2 trades come in, 19.5 call, 621, 208K total premium, 10,000 contracts. Big entry there. Volume coming in there. Net call premium spiking. Net put premium was still up a little bit. So looking at, let me pull up KVUE one more time. KVUE. So entry 21, they're actually running about 0.28 right now. So that whale's still in there, up about 40% on those. So a nice little trade there, and obviously you can see all that volume carrying over into open interest. Good sign there. So another good trade this week, BMY, and I just kind of like to show the alerts just so people can see I'm posting them in here. No editing or anything. So 41 call, 621, 89,000 contracts, 89K premium. Clean entry. Net call premium spiking here. The volume of calls coming up too. Net put premium spiking, but obviously calls outweighing that. Look here. So BMY, these are actually in the money, I believe, right now. So that's that RIVN move right here too. That's a really nice move. So KVUE, here's your entry. At 20, they're running about 29 again right now. 28, 29-ish. So up about 40% on that. So that's that movement in the contract, and you could have scalped that up a couple times. So BMY, these came in yesterday. And I'll pull that contract up again. So 89, you can see that volume coming in here. 89, they're running at 109 right now, 110, so 23% there. And just pull that up one more time, show everybody. BMY. So whale entry, you can see that movement of the contract coming in here. 109 currently. And Walmart. So this was a nice one in the morning. So looking at this one that came in, because everything's kind of running now, it looks like end of the day. Let me watch list. I'm not used to having all that stuff on there. Yeah, everything's kind of pumping end of day. So coming back here, so we had, and this was a mistake that I put these in here. They were not supposed to be in here. So Walmart 65 put, 76. On the 614 65 put, 166K, 2188 came in as a sweep. Good ask side volume coming in here. Net call premiums leading bid side here. Net put premium spiking at the time. Volume of puts picking up. And let's see, let me pull up the flow here quick. So here we are. So these ran 75 and they hit 107, and they were kind of hanging around that 105, 107 range. These hit about 44%. So this is kind of interesting to me that this whale is letting them go down to 39 from 75. Because looking at the volume here at the time, let me bump this out. So you could see that IV increasing, so 1274 all the way up to 1293. So to me, that whale was opening those contracts, and unless they're expecting another big move down, they're gonna probably take an L on this. But they hit 107, 44%. Looks like the whale's still in, but Otherwise, that is our flow recap for the week. I'll kind of drop the results in the description below. If you're interested in joining Stock Hub, description will be in the, or information will be in the description for the link. And if you're interested in trying Unusual Whales, I will drop a discount code in the description as well. Have a great weekend, everyone.